Welcome to your full moon in Cancer yoga experience. Come to the top of your mat, bringing your feet together and inhaling, either softening the gaze or closing down the eyes. And exhaling, dropping into this present moment. Continuing to breathe and expanding with every inhale. And contracting, hugging the navel in with every exhale. Inhaling, breathing, filling the low belly with breath, expanding the low belly like a balloon. And exhaling, hugging the navel in. Continuing to breathe, allowing the low belly to be the engine of the breath, filling the lungs, filling the body. And exhaling, activate and awaken your emotional world. Cancerian energy rules over our emotional vulnerability, our emotions being the first water sign in the zodiac, connecting to the motherland, our domestic, private, personal life. And as you inhale now, just knowing you're in a safe and sacred space where you're invited to open up, awaken, and activate the full spectrum of your humanity, beautifully, fluidly manifested in your emotional body. We're going to flow, inhaling, perhaps gently opening the eyes, allowing the shoulders to melt down as you lift the hands up towards the sky, greeting the sun, and exhaling, bowing forward. Perhaps bending the knees softly here, and then gently lift and lengthen. Exhaling down, coming into our plank position. Perhaps you want to drop knees, chest, chin to the floor, or coming through chaturanga, gliding through into a low cobra here, allowing the shoulders to roll back. Exhaling into our child's pose. You can separate the knees wide to open the hips. A lot of emotion is stored in the hips. So this hip opening style of child's pose with the arms reached out in front of you, the hips wide, and the seat, the pelvis melting down towards the ankles. It's really wonderful to open up somatically emotions stored in the body. And just breathing deeply, listening to the sound of the ocean, gently constricting the breath in the back of the throat to create the sound of the ocean. Cancerian energy, so connected to the water and the sea. That Cancerian icon is the crab, scuttling along the surface, dashing in and out of the sea. Melting, surrendering the heart forward, down towards the earth here. Just inviting the breath to wash over you as you open and just allow for an unfolding in the hips. And then we're going to come up into a tabletop. And we're going to, from this tabletop, maybe you want to get a little bit longer here, we're going to drop the hips down. And we're going to come into a low cobra-ish, and then tuck the chin, press through the hands, start to arch and concave around the spine, bringing the heart, the chest inward, rounding the back here like I'm almost in a cat pose, and then coming back into my child's pose here. I brought my knees in slightly just to facilitate this spinal roll, rolling through the spine, dropping the pelvis towards the earth. The chin comes up, lash, shoulders over wrists, and then tucking the chin, pressing down, hugging the navel in slightly as I begin to really round the upper back, dropping the crown towards the earth, coming through cat, and then coming back into my child's pose, leaving my hands where they are to get a nice stretch through the shoulders. And I want to invite you to continue to roll through like waves, this spinal roll. Inhaling up, exhaling down, and back. Beautiful. Continue to roll through several rounds of this delicious, cozy spinal roll, waking up the spine, waking up the breath, connecting into the body, and inviting in a fluid relationship to your emotional world, inviting any stuck emotions to come forward now, to be released, to let go, process, and heal. Gorgeous. And we're just going to sit back on our shins, or our calves here, in Vajrasana. Beautiful. And we're going to continue to create a supple spine here. We're going to open the chest forward, bringing the chest forward, arching the back like cow, and then rounding the spine, hugging the navel back, concaving here. And inhale forward, exhale back, begin. Go at your own pace. And maybe start to build up to a little bit faster pace, whatever you feel is right for you. Chin stays parallel, more or less my head is staying in one line. And it's almost like I have a string of pearls and my spine is moving, like the pearls fluctuating on either side. But my sacrum and my head is kind of staying in one position, if that's helpful for you. And deepening the breath now, continuing to create a supple spine. This is not so much about going into your depths or the full extension, but rather just the movement itself. Maybe closing down the eyes, gazing at the optic nerve. That's the third eye, Ajna chakra. So perhaps gazing up at the space between the eyebrows, maybe even gently contracting the pelvic floor, lifting the PC, pelvic floor contraction. Drawing up, sublimating lower vital energies, especially the second chakra, the water element, Svadhisthana chakra. It's at the level of the genitals, watery Svadhisthana, the water element. So gently constricting through the contracting the pelvic floor, lifting the genitals and anus in and up. To create that upward flow of the lower vital sexual energies of the earth and water element. Beautiful. And when you feel like your spine is nice and warmed up, go ahead and come to a seat here, perhaps an easy pose. Maybe you want to be in like a half lotus situation. Maybe you're all about it and you want to come into a full lotus if that works. Bringing the fingertips to the shoulders here, relaxing the shoulders down. And we're just going to inhale left and exhale right. So we're moving either from the navel or maybe you feel like it's more from the sternum. Lift up and out of the pelvic bowl, root down through the sit bones, and even lift up and out of the rib cage here. I find that helps to create more space for everything. And just go really gentle here at your own pace, and then slowly you'll notice things will start to loosen up and make more sense. Closing the eyes down, chin is parallel to the earth. And I like to even get like an upward almost momentum at each, hourglass, at each, kind of the end of each, knocking things over. Side, and begin, or keep going. Just enjoying the experience. We're really not trying to get anywhere, but we're trying to, we're not really trying to, but we just are connecting into our emotional body, awakening the emotional world through feeling, sensing, and just acknowledging your emotions as your superpowers, lubricating the spine, opening up so things can flow upwards, sublimating. You might not feel like you're even moving very much in this, but this is so awesome just to create mobility, loosen up the spine, creating an agile, flexible, supple spine. The awareness is on the movement itself, or if that makes you dizzy, the breath. Okay, coming to center, pausing for a moment. That's like quite a bit of movement. Can stir things up energetically. So just taking a moment to come back into the body, being embodied. It means we take our power back, we take our energy back, and really feel connected to the body. So just noticing if that movement started to kind of scatter your energy and then pulling it back in. I'm hearing so many like cracklings, like I'm going up a mountain and I'm in altitude in my ears right now. Inhaling and exhaling, gorgeous. We're gonna open up here and maybe grabbing a block, opening up the legs to a little prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. So just sitting up nice and tall. Perhaps you want to get a little pillow or cushion to help tilt the pelvis forward, so to support you here. Or you could even roll up the back of the mat just to give yourself a little bit of help tilting the pelvis forward. And sitting up nice and tall here. But let's come over to the right side first. Just for a moment, opening up through the left side body, the left waist, and coming through the other side. Beautiful. And then coming back through center. And let's just slowly start to come forward. Doesn't need to be your deepest stretch. Opening up through the inner thighs, maybe even getting into the hips a little bit. Taking a few moments here to replenish. Cancerian energy loves to nurture and support others like a mother. Wants to give. And it's so important to take time to replenish your supplies. Fill up your own cup with this Cancerian full moon energy so you can continue to show up in this loving, nurturing, beautiful, motherly way in mothering yourself, mothering those around you, or mothering your children. Just not mothering your romantic partners, because that would be codependency. So the moon is at home in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the celestial orb of the moon. Moon is moody, changing signs every 2.5 days. It's the fastest moving planet. It's not a planet technically, but we consider it such in astrology. Mercury is technically the fastest moving planet, changing sign about every 3 weeks, save retrogrades when it takes much longer. And Cancer is moody, emotions, think of the waves fluctuating and changing our emotional body. And if your ruling planet changed signs every 2.5 or 3 days, you'd also be pretty moody. So just honoring the fluctuations and changes and really staying connected to the emotional world, and rather than disconnected or disassociating, because it can be so overwhelming when the ocean rises and the waves start pummeling the shore. Rather see if you can expand your meditation, your awareness. Expanding your awareness so you can hold space for the whole ocean, all of your emotional world, the emotional full spectrum, and acknowledging emotions as superpowers rather than distractions or unwanted things. It's to have emotions is to be alive. So as you feel even unwelcome feelings, see if you can welcome the unwelcome. Welcome those feelings that feel uncomfortable and welcome them, because it means you are alive, feeling the life force energy flowing and seeing what do your emotions want to tell you. What is the intuitive message the emotions are trying to bring to shore? So if you neglect and ignore your emotional body or choose to disassociate or disconnect, you can really lose touch with your true sense of self and also what you're being guided to manifest or realize. So staying really in tune with your emotions as they change and fluctuate. Even a daily emotional check-in with a journal is great. So coming through here, maybe helping to close the knees and coming into a nice little Baddha Konasana, continuing to open the hips. Opening up any emotions trapped or stored in the hips, feeling free to express your feelings now or anytime, especially creating safe and sacred spaces and really holistic relationships where you are safe to be who you are and express your feelings, not feeling pigeonholed into being a certain way. allowing for this fluid shift in emotions. And I'm just butterflying my knees, and then we're gonna slowly start to pour forward. I'm doing this with a flat back. If you feel like rounding through the spine and bringing the crown of the head to the toes, you're more than welcome. I'm gonna stay nice and long here, looking out over the toes, bringing more like the chin to the toes. And I'm peeling my feet open like I'm reading a book here. So the bottoms of the feet kind of come towards facing the ceiling, flipping them up if that is accessible for you. Breathing, opening, awakening, activating access to your senses, feeling what's going on in the hips, drawing your awareness to this part of your body, and even getting really granular with your understanding and ability to perceive the subtle body, these emotions and feelings, sensations that are arising in your awareness, in your body, and welcoming them and getting curious about the subtle energies like a connoisseur, like a sommelier. What if you were so refined in your perception of emotion that it wasn't just like, ow, that doesn't feel good, I don't like that. It was like, wow, I'm sensing this profound and complex, like nuanced, subtle emotional landscape, and I can perceive on a granular level this really nuanced, subtle perception of my experience. So rather than just getting like bombastically mad and angry, I can perceive that, oh, I feel betrayed, and that betrayal is linked to other like spider web emotions. So that could be a really powerful way for us to become more refined in our experience of our own reality, our own emotional world. And then releasing, perhaps really gently supporting the knees to come up. And then I like to take my palms of my hand and press them at the sides of the knees and press my knees into my hands to kind of reset my hips. And you can just see if this works for you. And then I take the palms of my hands, I flip them over. The palms of the hands are now in between my legs facing the inner knee. And I'm just gonna press like leveraging my knees against my hands, if that makes sense, just to set that in. I hope I explained that well enough, but you know what I mean. And rolling down the spine, we're just going to rock and roll up and down the sacrum, imagining the three fused vertebrae, the low back is a clock, and you're just rocking between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock vertically, and then rocking horizontally between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then diagonally on either side, and then big circles massaging the periphery of the sacrum and switching directions. Gorgeous. Now we're going to roll, spinal roll like the waves of the ocean, inhaling up, exhaling down, arching, lifting the pelvic bowl towards the ceiling, and exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Beautiful. Let's lift the pelvic bowl and even pulse it a few times, Pilates style. So just dropping down, lifting up, lifting and engaging the glutes here just to awaken, open, like expand and stretch the skin in, or the adductors, the front of the hips. And pulse, pulse, little baby pulses. 3, 2, 1, and stay up. And now let's clasp the hands behind the seat, roll the shoulders underneath, and now really press the pubic bone towards the ceiling. This is where Svadhisthana chakra is, so this can be, although really heart opening, as well as the chest comes towards the chin, also to opening and activating, awakening the second chakra, the water element, Svadhisthana, the level of the genitals, the center of creativity, emotions, and sexuality. And exhaling, rolling it down the spine, releasing here, and taking any final poses that you would like to enjoy for your full moon in Cancer. So Cancer ruled by the moon. The moon is full. We're feeling very emotional, which is beautiful. So rather than thinking of emotions in our patriarchal, like the patriarchal systems being deconstructed and all of that, but in the overarching patriarchal society that we're hopefully moving away from in this age of Aquarius, We are hoping to start to reclaim our emotions as our superpowers, as our guides, as our teachers, and as so precious and so valuable to our human experience, rather than repress, deny, block, and objectify or hate on our emotions. So just releasing here and imagining a warm wave of golden light cascading from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. Letting the breath be soft and natural, like gentle waves lapping on the shore. And feeling a subtle sense of peace and harmony wash over your entire being as you melt here into the earth beneath you. Taking your time to be restored and rejuvenated here and rest, filling up your cup, creating a deep pool of yin, the yin essence to draw from. Feeling a harmonious distribution of all the energy you cultivated and awakened throughout your practice over your entire body and being. A sense of peace, maybe even a dissolving of the body outline. Taking as much time as you possibly have here, and then coming back into your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes, bending the knees, stretching the arms overhead, and rolling over into our fetal position here, cradling the ear on the bicep like a pillow to be nourished. Cancer is the mother, so just letting this beautiful, like self-parenting moment of yourself in the womb, in your fetal position, receiving all of the nourishment and joy and happiness here, feeling so wanted and welcome, so deeply loved, worthy and deserving. Then pressing down into the earth to sit up and coming to a seat, bringing the hands to your heart center and breathing into your heart, and exhaling, release. Thank you so much for taking time to participate in your full moon in Cancer yoga practice. Definitely let me know how your experience was in the comments. I am sending you so much love. Definitely drink lots of water and take time to journal out your emotional, what's come up for you in terms of opening and activating, awakening and honoring your emotional body. I'm sending you so much love. Namaste.